Hello everyone and welcome back to the Maestro Iron Fist event here. Joining me is ZSX as always, looking beautiful as always.
Mate.
That's all right. I thought it'd be really nice for you because we've got 4 more matches left to go.
You could flirt in person.
Oh, stop it, you stop. Well, this is it, exactly. At least I can flirt with you right in front of you rather than just online. It's, you know, another add to the experience, isn't it?
It does, it really does. It's great to be here. It's great to be in person. It's great to see the players. And I'm sure they're enjoying it probably more than we are, to be fair.
Yeah.
And we've got another tasty match for you. Raisy versus SIB.
Yes, so, you know, I spoke a bit earlier just before that 4th match finalised and had the conclusion, as Raisy did seem pretty confident in terms of his duels and his scrims he was doing yesterday. And, of course, SIB had a little bit of hiccups along the way with his setup, which we already know now and we've already spoke about it. But we're going to go through the picks and bans. We'll wipe that off and just see how exactly SIB does let it on in this matchup. Because, of course, it's very important still in the winners bracket. It's going to be the first round. He needs to try and make an impact or a statement if he can. But let's do have a look at the picks and bans anyway, because this is going to be something we need to really keep an eye on and see exactly what we're going to win. So looks like we're going to be starting off with Vale, then going to Corrupt to Keep, and then if we do go to a third map, which we haven't done yet so far today, it will be on Ruins here, Dan.
Yeah, that's a pretty interesting. We've got Vale again. We have the Solar coming out from Raisy. We know how strong he is on there. And the counter of the Keel, I understand it. You can then play a slow, methodical game. You've got the stack to sustain the pressure from the Solar. Obviously, the pace is going to be set by Raisy. So what SIB needs to do is to try and stay stable and get onto that high ground and try and protect it. If you can do that, it is a good pick. If you can't, you can get bullied. Moving on to Keep, we've got Ison again, another key pick from this event. It's a pretty good map, pretty good pick on Keep, but the Anaki's come out. Again, the pace and the inject can be so strong. And if we get to Ruins, I mean, somehow, some way, there's been a clutch left on the table for Raisy, and I don't think SIB even wants himself to get to that point. I think he wants to win 2-0.
And you know what, Dan, I don't blame you for thinking that because, yeah, he's going to be thinking the same thing. Don't get me wrong, because SIB uses the clutch himself, he might find ways to, you know, break into... You know,
you can't even say it with a straight face.
I literally could not. I was hoping for the life of me I could say that straight face. I just couldn't. I was literally sneaking as I was saying that, but it doesn't matter. It's perfectly fine. We'll see if he even gets that far anyway, to that stage.
He looks bored.
Yeah. You could just tell straight away. But
oh my God.
I don't know, man. I even think as well, even with Corrupt to Keep, we've seen the eyes in a few times before, but a lot of the times, a lot of occasions, due to the turret positioning, it's been heavily undervalued or just been not being utilised enough at all. And this is the only thing I'm worried about here, and where Raisy could, you know, get around it on a number of occasions here. So we'll have to see exactly what SIB can bring to the table. Hopefully it's a lot, because, you know, against someone like Raisy, it's going to be a very tough start for him.
Yeah, and it's all going to come down to that start. If Raisy gets ahead of steam on the Sorlag, he will snowball. You can't do that level of pressure on the Keel. It is a lot more structured in the way you have to approach the game. So that's scary for SIB, because he has to try and prevent Raisy running at him. I don't know how he's managing to do that. So it is going to be a big opening engagement right out the bat, and we'll see how he gets on. But like we said, if it gets to a map 3, I just don't see a world in which he wins that. So, you know, for SIB to get out of this one alive, it's going to have to be a 2-0.
It's feeling that way, isn't it, Dan? It really is. It's just depending on if it is as predictable a matchup as it could be, but we'll find out shortly. We've seen a fair amount of Vale already today, especially the Isa versus Galena matchup, but this is going to be a completely different kettle of fish with the Sorlag and the Kill. You've made some very strong valid points as well with the Kill, of course, you know, very good, especially down those narrow choke points, but Raisy obviously looking very good with the Sorlag overall. He has the ability in favour, definitely dance around with these items, especially if they're segregated really early, which he has done.
And here he is, he's already pushing on through. He knows exactly where the Keel is. The big rocket bouncing Raisy into the sky. That means SIB does fight another day. But you can see Raisy once again, as you said, already knows the timing and the split there, and is just going to be keep pressuring the Keel, as Raisy himself is very healthy. Rocket jumps up to skirt his way across towards the Mega. Once he takes this off that rail, he might not even want to stick around for the Mega. He knows that SIB is on the rope here.
And it looks like SIB just trying to do his Raisy's trademark with the gauntlet, but he's not going to fall for that, heavily delayed that. And I must say, SIB's put up a pretty damn good defense from what we've seen so far. The only problem is, though, again, it's delaying the inevitable. It just depends on how quickly he can try and recover, which he has done. But Raisy already knows where he's coming from. He was available. That would have been so important, but it doesn't matter. Raisy finally takes him down, took a little bit more damage than he hoped for, but at the end of the day, still gets the first frag.
Yeah, and as you said, Raisy's just taking away all the resources. He realized he made a little bit of a mistake being greedy, jumping in to try and hit that conversion rail. But when he didn't do that, he said, all right, I'll just take the rest of the map away. I know how low you are. So far, he's the one that's using the rail a lot smarter. No, the levitation! Yeah, that you can only laugh at that, as Raisy is already on a bit of a roll.
Yeah, that was a little bit of a facepalm, I must say. Bit of a shame. Still early days of the year, still some time for SIB to try and... Oh, okay, so Raisy got a nice little tri-bolt there, but it's just going to add even more damage towards SIB's confidence going into this, but he does pick up the Mega. He hasn't got any armor though. This is going to be a huge issue for him here, depending on how much more damage Raisy can get with those rockets, but he's just being very patient, very disciplined to try and push in at the perfect time. And you couldn't ask for a better time though to pop in here, but it's actually taken a lot more than expected as SIB finally finds his footing, gets the first frag, and something which Raisy, in all fairness, should have won that fight.
The problem with Keel, he's just so slow. Luckily hits the 2 straight up rockets to get back into this game, but you can see the problem. He's just slow. So far that Mega has been his saving grace. Raisy almost letting him get that has kept SIB in the game. But he's going to miss on it now, and Raisy's also extended the duration between the 2 pickups. Plenty of time to run the map. And hopefully take up both items.
Raisy now. Both on a very similar stack anyway. So Raisy just pick up all the hourglasses, just picking up the light and just making sure to take this next fight in the best possible, with the best possible outcome here. But again, Raisy with the high ground, just trying to find that rail, looking to see where he's off to. Realises that SIB is going to go to the LG, but it will back off anyway. Realises that Raisy is on his, definitely directly above him on his toes, but even then though, you can see Raisy's doing a good job just literally just keeping on par with his audio cues, just keeping SIB guessing, constantly just messing with his mind at the moment, and so far in a good position to pick up this heavy and already got the high ground once again.
Scoreline's close, but look at the stack now. We've seen the pressure coming out from Raisy when he didn't have the full map rotation. Now he has the full utility of both major items to fall back on. He's going to wait out for this Mega, and then I expect him to go very aggressive.
Stopwatch.
Might he try to sneak a rail, but no, he's just even going to go on around. SIB playing it nice and slow, managed to get himself on the high ground, which is exactly what he wanted to do.
Again, Raisy just huge amount of patience, but took a lot of damage from the LG, but goes for the heavy anyway. Oh my goodness, the tracking there from Raisy. But the problem is SIB was just equally as good here. As already now doing a tickle of damage from below, did the 18 with that last rocket. Mega is up, and again, Raisy just making sure the coast is clear before he even takes the chance of taking that Mega, and he might actually be able to catch him, but looks like SIB's just managed to get away in time, realises that there's a possibility that Raisy was going to go for that portal and
SIB is doing exactly what he needs to do, Lethal. He's getting in those defensive positions early, he's contesting the items, he's not letting Raisy get away with anything, and he's playing slow. It is stalling Raisy's momentum a little bit, and he's hitting great follow-up shots. He needs to try and make this count. He's done a lot of damage now, but look, he's just not strong enough, and Raisy once again picks up some items and goes aggressive, and this is where he knows he can convert, and that is the cleanest frag he will ever get.
That's going to be the one of the cleanest frags for days. That was a ridiculous LG as he was dropping down. Just oozing with confidence, and this is what I said during the scrims yesterday. He seemed quite comfortable with, you know, just in this environment, in this setting once again. Not being phased one bit. In terms of stack though, Raisy still has the advantage. Trying to catch him with the rail down below. He's done enough to keep him at bay and just rocket through in that portal just to guarantee that Mega for extra insurance just in case. But we'll be able to find him here. This could be another one added to his frag bank, just trying to get around him. But there's good defensive rockets here coming from SIB, but it has actually kept Raisy back.
He has indeed, but again, he hasn't got the stack to do anything. He's relying on hitting these clutch shots at this point in time, and if any one of them doesn't hit, the whole plan unravels. So as much as he's doing some great work on the defense, he has to find a way to make one of these pushes count, to convert on it, and then set the tempo. But Raisy's just not allowing that. He tries to rocket jump punch to do something, but Raisy's already there to finish him and punish it. And now the time is already getting to a point where it's becoming more and more desperate for SIB.
Speaking of time as well, after that little scuffle, he actually delayed that Mega heavily, and now he can pick up both items as he sees fit. With plenty of time to plan that. well, especially with the heavy coming up now, but it does give him a little bit. SIB though is just so weak, there's nothing much he can do. He's going to find him, he doesn't really care how much damage he takes, that's going to be a guaranteed kill.
Yeah, and the big challenge I'm seeing for SIB again, as Raisy actually misses that, and SIB says, all right, I'll take it. It's just the speed. He just can't keep up with the pace that Raisy's setting. We talked about the good defensive play from SIB, but then as he's retreating after taking some damage himself, Raisy's sweeping up items and getting into the next position to kill him before SIB knows how to react.
Sure does. SIB don't. Yep, there we go. I was going to say 7 HP, but not anymore. He's managed to respawn on the LG anyway. Has popped on through. Got all the pineapples in the world to use. And Raisy just getting all the weapons in his arsenal back. Does pick up the Mega. He could go for the light if he wants to, but the thing is though, SIB hasn't really done enough damage, so he can save that for after this next bout.
And literally nothing SIB could do there. And 7 frags in it. It's once again, it's just one of these where it's too far now. The map is just too far gone.
Certainly is. 2.5 minutes left. 7 frags. Needs to try and find, but at this point, can't see it happening at all. Especially with the mobility of the Sorlag, it's just going to make matters even worse. It's just can't really see it happening in the picture-perfect world for SIB. Barely missed that rail onto him. He was reliable at the time. And now Raisy's already recovered. So at this point, SIB's probably going to think about that second map and how he's going to try and have a different approach. But yeah, Raisy's just looking super solid.
Yeah, but at the same time, I do credit SIB. I felt mechanically he looked on point. He was definitely doing a lot of damage, but I feel that the picks did come back to bite him. Again, you see the thought process somewhat, and that you want to match fire with the stack. I think I can get onto the high ground, use the pineapples, but Raisy was also smart. He didn't chase him down, didn't run into these zones where the pineapples have a lot of utility. He kept his distance with the rail and with the LG, and he just used the speed.
Oh, he's trying to back away. Oh, he's just doing so much work. Good work. Oh, we almost managed to hit that. Would have stopped him getting the Mega if he did. But picks up the heavy anyway, and yeah, it's just a matter of time now before this map is going to be all said and done. Minute 15, SIB is directly behind him. Raisy manages to get away. To dodge that last rail as well. SIB directly behind him though. Raisy waiting to see if he can jump across. Mega's up for another 10 seconds. Almost managed to get the angle, but SIB, of course, gets away. Minute left remaining here, Dan, until we go to the second one.
Yeah, if I'm SIB in this situation, I'd actually feel pretty okay with the performance. Scoreline again is not the prettiest, but I felt it was a competitive game. Raisy was forced to take aggressive moves and play a high level to win it. So I think SIB should be feeling somewhat okay, but it also puts us in the realm again. If somehow he's going to win this series, yes, then I'll be a clutch. So yeah, that's always in the back of the mind.
And I wouldn't wish that upon anyone. We know that he favours the clutch on Awoken, but to be fair, at this point on most maps, it's just a difficult task at hand anyway, no matter how you see it. But, you know, that's the only kind of leeway I can maybe give him going into this. But 15 seconds left now, 13-3. Raisy trying to make a statement, but it's like you said, you know, the scoreline doesn't really show exactly what occurred in this matchup. SIB had some, you know, signs of life in a few occasions that we'll have to see how we go to the second one and see if it's going to be a replica here. But SIB will get cleaned up 14-3. That's going to be the first map in favour of Raisy, looking to go for that clean sweep. But as you've already said, Dan, if SIB does somehow magically take this one, then yeah, it's still going to deal with that clutch.
Yeah, so it's a long road back. I mean, there's a shake of the head from SIB. I didn't think it was a bad performance. I think no one would have gone out expecting SIB to win this. 14-3 does feel bad, but it didn't feel that bad watching it, you know. He just couldn't get in. He couldn't find a way to take control. And even if he did, you just got Sorlag running at you much, much faster. Can just do almost do drive-bys. Run in, spit, do some LG, run out. And what are you meant to do as a kill in that situation? I thought SIB performed pretty admirably.
Yeah, I kind of feel like in this matchup, if he had the lead, it could be a slightly different story. Of course, you can use those pineapples into more effect, just taking those choke points. But Raisy wasn't really falling for it, was he? He was trying to make sure he stays in the open, making sure that he didn't really give that kill any kind of advantage in the slightest. And it was well played by Raisy. But no, I do agree with what you said about SIB. You know, to a certain degree, yeah, you know, he played relatively okay. He shouldn't really, you know, be too down on that considering the circumstances he was in. But now, when we go to the next one, it depends what we can see differently coming out of SIB.
Yeah, definitely. And we just quickly review the picks and bans to see the situation we're in now when we move on to Raisy's Keep. The Anarchy, obviously not the meta on this map, but Raisy somewhat pioneered it back in the early day, and it's still amazingly effective. The Ison has utility, but again, you suffer from the same problem as we saw in map 1. A lack of speed, a lack of real utility. The turret is good. It's not the best on keep. It's still okay. Again, I just think the picks here are just too far different. I would favor Raisy 9 times out of 10 on this pick against anyone. So
yeah,
it's an uphill battle. We know how good Raisy is anyway. It's hard to see the positives.
Exactly. That's kind of like how I see it as well. You think of Eisen on card to keep. It's like, it's all right. You know, it's all right. Like, you know, we've seen worse champions obviously picked on for this matchup, but it's like, how much value can you get on the turret? It's all about position, how we can utilize it, and you know, we spoke about this before this series even began, and this is going to be like, you know, a big question here. And like I said, it's Raisy's keep. You know, his best maps are statistically corrupted keep, Awoken, and ruins. And the fact that he's got ruins after this, if he somehow fails on this map, it's going to be tough, but let's see what we can do. SIB is going to be starting off with POV in this second map. He needs to try and get 2 back-to-back to try and come back in this series, but Raisy's been looking pretty damn solid.
He has indeed. SIB needs to work his way around to the LG. Raisy's going to try and protect it. He needs himself a rocket, and they need to just trade positions, but Raisy's actually going to wait around this time to try and punish the push on through that tele, and is there a way out for SIB? I don't really know. I don't think there is, and he can't hit anything. Yeah, that's frustrating. Now Raisy's just going to sweep on round. He won't be able to pick up the heavy, but he could definitely punish. Oh, actually, this time he didn't realise that SIB got the spawn by the shotgun to start with. That's painful, but again, comes out on top. Didn't even use the inject.
Yeah, with that first frag from Raisy, like, it was good that he stood his ground with the LG. And SIB was very unfortunate with those rockets, especially the last 2 as well. Just at least do some kind of damage before he was cleaned up there. But Raisy, though, 2 frags in the lead already with a minute only passing. Heavies gets picked up by SIB. Raisy having to back away, but still doing a huge amount. I don't think SIB realised that he was going to continue on to pile on the pressure whilst he was pushing from bottom mid towards the Mega. And Raisy doing a great job so far, but the direct is just going to, just make the scenario even worse here for SIB, but Raisy's on 7 HP. Tries to play one, misses the shotgun shot, and SIB comes out with the heavy machine gun.
Raisy did not even blink when he died there. What a machine, but a little bit unorthodox from Raisy. I felt he could have taken away both those major items, but instead gives them away to SIB in favour of positioning. Once again, SIB picking up this Mega, so you know, on the plus side, at least he's got timing on his side, he just hasn't got any weapons.
And I like the tactical suicide from SIB as well. The fact that he was the one who picked up both items. He knows it's at least another 15-20 seconds till they're picked up. He might as well just, you know, restart, get a restack rather than dilly-dallying around, because by the time he's even fully recovered to his default stack, the items will be up and he won't be able to challenge it. So that's going to be, or would have been, a serious issue here. But Raisy now up 4-0, only been a couple of minutes here. Oh, the direct. He picks up the Mega, but even then, though, the LG's looking good. SIB still finishes him off with the MG and gets himself on the board once again.
But he's just so low. There's no way he can get enough of the stack to contest the next item. Raisy's going to sweep up the items, he's going to sweep up the weapons. Just having a ball of a time at the moment.
He certainly is. Is Raisy now still on the warpath here? But yeah, you're right though, SIB. I know what you're thinking, Dan. SIB's actually got himself back into it a little bit more with that stack. Drops him for the Mega though, but stacks are equal at the moment in this LG panel, but SIB loses out. Only by a small margin here, 51 HP, and Raisy's now looking to recover and try and back away, but it looks like SIB's going to try and charge on him with those rocks.
The LG at the moment is just the difference at this point. SIB's barely even used it, let alone had any success with it, whereas Raisy, every single fight is a hit scan at this point in time. But again, he is giving away the items a little bit too freely for my liking. Again, credit to SIB for turning up, contesting them, taking them away. Raisy's now chipping down his opponent. I don't even think he would want to finish him too quickly with 15 seconds before the next item. He might just let him live a bit longer, knowing he's got nothing to work with. Manipulate his opponent's positioning to force him away from the heavy. Again, really smart play here, and that will give him a free pickup because now SIB can't contest, and this is where the pain will begin.
I want to talk about the angle which Raisy held for that previous heavy. He had a, quite a fair stack disadvantage, but with the heavy machine gun, the angle was holding on the hourglasses coming up from Red Room. He did so much work, he was in a position to then continue to contest it rather than have to back away and fight for another day. As Raisy now 33 HP, heavy's up in the next 10 seconds, but what's he going to do first? Decides to go for the hourglass to get the inject and then go for the 2 health, but what's not going to happen though, SIB beautifully predicts that, and now gets another one on the board.
That's a really nice frag by SIB. Great trap down below, also good read to find Raisy for the conversion frag, and it's all born out of, again, this timing from SIB has been spot on all series long.
It's been looking pretty solid as Raisy now to do something with his rockets on the high ground, but oh, the amount of LG damage did just then as well. Put the turret just to extra insurance, but the direct is not going to help Raisy at all in the sliders. SIB has backed away, perfectly understandable. Let's pick up the heavy and the light, but he hasn't got any HP to go with it, Dan.
Yeah, desperation, but again, he stole it away, meaning he will now be able to get onto this Mega because Raisy's had nothing to work with. But it was a bit sloppy in the early game for Raisy to get up some of the items, but now it's just SIB playing better around the items. He is still losing 6-3, but he has full control in theory, and Raisy's cutting her up because he needs a light before he can test. He's got the inject, but that's, at this point in time, get me out of jail free card more than anything else. He has to play this distance game, but it's just getting melted by the heavy machine gun from SIB, who was more than prepared for that angle.
Oh, the LG coming in now from Raisy, 75 HP though. SIB's actually taking a huge brunt of it. He's hoping to get some kind of rocket, but we know what Raisy's like. This is one of his favourite positions, and we see time and time. How many times have we seen so many players like fall for that in that one spot, and Raisy gets away with his life? It's just absolute maddening, and SIB's just realised that as well. I think he must have been extremely frustrated, but like I said, how many times have we seen Raisy on that curve outside the telly and literally someone like trying to contest him for the Mega and Raisy barely takes any damage?
I think you're right in terms of frustration there, and it's a shame that that's happened because he has played this map really, really well. Again, I don't think the Ison pick has done anything at this point, but he's played it really well, and now, I mean, that might have been kind of almost him throwing in the towel mentally. Raisy's now got both items on rotation. What can SIB do to restore parity?
Oh, the LG just flying over. Adding another one. 8-3. Raisy with a fantastic stack to continue the aggression as he sees fit. And he's just taking out the turrets every single time. He'll get a tick or two of damage, but it's not the value he's looking for here. Maybe get some information at the same time. And it's a shame as well, because SIB was off to a great start, going tooth and nail. I know the first initial frag did not go his way at all in the sliders, as Raisy pretty much had his number, but in terms of coming back in this matchup, he was looking good, but now, with a few minutes left remaining, he seems a little bit tilted.
Yeah, he is, and it was a crucial frag that he gave away there, because as you pointed out, he did no damage. He came in with full stack, Raisy had nothing, and he just dropped into the water and just was untouchable somehow, some Matrix-style dodging. And it is one in the game at that point, you know, like. But if I look at the way this game is played out, I do generally think SIB actually played slightly better than Raisy. There was definitely more mechanical skill coming out from Raisy's side, but the strategy, the positioning, and the timing generally favoured SIB.
It's not like he played bad at all. I think he's had a great methodical approach, and he's been quite aggressive at the right times. And these very minuscule players here from Raisy has definitely been a real pain here mentally for SIB. And I think that one, you know, a moment when he was contesting the Mega and he had a huge advantage and Raisy was still able to stay alive without taking barely any damage at all. He shouldn't be surprised by that, because like I said before, how many times have we seen him do it? Like loads. I think I've seen him at least 10 times against so many different opponents, and you know, it's not that they fall for it, it's just sometimes they just assume that at some point we can get a decent enough rocket damage in order to then push him for the Mega, but so far not. It seems like in terms of the Mega in that position, Raisy's godlike at it.
Yeah, he is. It was such smart play. So this map is now done and dusted for various reasons. We'll see Raisy moving on, but I think we've seen throughout the challenges, the lower bracket is gonna be pretty tasty. Everyone's put on a strong performance so far.
I kind of feel the same. Even in the studio environment now, I kind of feel like a lot of these players, especially a lot of players, you know, we don't expect to be favourites to win the entire competition, have actually improved a lot more, or have progressed a lot better. They seem to improve dramatically in comparison. Maybe the environment's given them more a bit of an oomph, a bit of a boost, you know, you could say. And they've seen signs of that from every single one of these players today, and it's exciting to see, because of course, you know, we've got 3 days of action down, we can't really complain at all in this slightest, and what a direct there from SIB.
There you go. That's a way to sign off the series if there ever was one. And you have
12
to say,
8, not bad.
you have to say Raisy, I mean, it's early stages of the tournament, but you can't read too much into it. Just warming up, let's say. It wasn't the dominant performance I think many people would have expected to come from Raisy. It was pretty clean. It was I say it's confident, but there were definitely hiccups in there, and it just wasn't as commanding as I would have expected.
Yeah, you expect like a 15-5 or something like that in terms of that scoreline. So, it could be a mixture of Siv's playing better, but also at the same time Raisy's warming up. It's, a lot to take into account, really, considering. But 30 seconds left. Pretty much a done deal here, as Raisy now should be winning this series 2-0, which it looks like it will be now. And he's going to be pretty happy about that. And interested to see what his next matchup's going to be in the winners bracket, because we've seen, some of the matches we're going to get over the next couple of days, especially tomorrow, it's just going to be ridiculous.
Couldn't agree more, man. And this is all about finding that bracket. But out of all the matches, this is obviously one of the more one-sided in terms of pure rankings and pure expectations. We're now moving into a few series where it's a bit more undecided on who's going to take it.
Yeah, we're going to dangerous territory, I think, tomorrow here, Dan, but I think a lot of them will be in the loser bracket as well. I'm very excited to see exactly what the outcomes are going to be. And I think a lot of these players who've lost out already are definitely going to keep an eye on who loses between Zanaku and Nosfer, because that is definitely one opponent you don't want to even mess with in the first round of the losers bracket.
No, neither one. I mean, there's no one I've seen today where it'd be like that. They're definitely going out, or they're definitely going through. It's one of the more closely fought events so far that we're seeing here.
Yeah, we certainly are indeed. And, with those first two maps, it's like I said before, even though scoreline doesn't reflect it, again, SIB did put on a better performance than we expected. There was definitely signs where I think the first frag must have been a little bit tilting, because he doesn't expect Raisy just to stand there on the window of the hourglasses, just to literally LG him like that, and a few missed rockets, which, not something we kind of realised or witnessed, because we thought we was going to get something out of it. But even then, though, it was definitely the Rocket Omega. That was it. That was the, yeah, I'm done.
That was unfortunate. Picks played a part. Again, I think the Eisen wasn't that effective. The turret was okay at times, but again, I do think there were better picks he could have played. It's all about comfort, as we discussed in the opening, particularly the underdog. But definitely map 1, Keel didn't work out. Didn't go to plan. The Sorlag ran riot. And so, in context, map 2 definitely could have gone SIB way, but map 1 was